I think this year is going to be, we're going to see so much growth and so many teams coming to play. It's going to be incredible. Like, I truly think this season is just going to be like wild.
Hello, beautiful people, and Happy New Year. We are into 2024. I hope you are all having an amazing start to your new year. I am Bridget Sloan, and this is episode number 2 of Flipping Out with Bridget Sloan. I am your host, Bridget Sloan, and this is a podcast where you are going to be hearing from guests throughout the gymnastics community, from analysts to athletes to coaches and everyone in between. You're going to hear about their success stories, the failures that they might have had, and really everything in between. I mean, we're going to give you the good, bad, and ugly of all the stories that they want to share. I'm so incredibly excited to have you listening because this episode is really going to get you hype for what is coming this weekend. That's right. NCAA gymnastics officially kicks off this weekend, and I couldn't imagine having a better guest. She's a 6-time All-American from the University of Michigan. She won 4 Big Ten team championships while she was there. She is co-authored with her dad on a book, Confessions of a D1 Athlete. And you might recognize her voice because she currently serves as a Big Ten network analyst. She is one of my dearest friends, and she is just an amazing human. Everybody, please welcome Olivia Karas.
Well, Miss Olivia Karas here for an amazing episode on Flipping Out with Bridget Sloan. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm so honored.
I mean, you were one of the first invites on my list, if I'm being completely honest. So,
wow,
don't let that go to your head. But like, you were up at the top.
I'm honored.
I mean, you should be. Okay, Liv, you have, in my opinion, a very unique background when it comes to gymnastics, what you're doing now, all the goals you have in life. I mean, gymnastics has always been a really crucial part of your life. And I don't think I've ever asked you this, how did you choose Michigan?
Oh, I love telling this story. I call it my my romance story with Michigan. So how did I choose Michigan? I am from Chicago. I'm from downtown Chicago. So Ann Arbor is only about a 3.5 hour drive, maybe 3 hours and 15 minutes, depends on how fast you're driving. And I always just loved, I'm a Midwest girl born and raised. Like, I love the East Coast. I love the West Coast, but there's something about the Midwest that just I love. And I knew that I wanted to go to a school in particular, kind of before I even really started looking at schools, where my family could come and be there, but not be close enough that they were there too much. So I knew that was one of my stipulations. I was like, if I'm going to go to a school that I want my family to be able to see me compete, I want to be able to go home for a weekend if I want to and make it really accessible, it needed to be driving distance. And in my opinion, 3.5 hours is the limit. Once you reach 4 or 5, that to me is fly, which is such a terrible thing, but it's true. I just am I'm good. So from the top, I was okay, Michigan is just such a great option because it has that for me. And actually what's so crazy is back when you could recruit before junior year, I competed at level 10 nationals in Long Beach, and I ended up going in at the last second. I was the alternate because I fell on beam at regionals, and I ended up going into, I know that's gross. That's a theme, an underlying theme in my career is falling on beam at regionals. But I fell on beam.
I feel that.
Right. I was the alternate. This girl gets hurt in practice, and whomever at the time was doing all the whatever happens if someone goes down and someone comes up. I don't even remember who was coordinating that, but they were we need our first alternate to be on the team and compete. And so my mom got the call and called me at school and was you're getting on a flight in 3 days to go to California. I was oh my gosh. And I'd never been to level 10 nationals before, whatever. And so go compete, was so just thrown in general that I was competing, and ended up the meet went really well. It was my first year level 10. So it was whatever. And I ended up 3 weeks later getting a letter in the mail from Michigan. And my parents were aw, that's so sweet. Like they saw you compete. They thought you did a good job. Like that's so cute. It was actually from Shannon Welker. And he was like, yeah, we were at the meet. You did a great job, blah, blah, blah. And like we didn't have anyone in my gym who had gone to college for gymnastics. So we had no idea what that meant. We just thought it was truthfully like you did a really good job at the meet. Like good luck in the future. Lo and behold, like they were flirting. And like that was their way of like swiping right. And I was just like, I had no idea. Like I was just like so thrown. And so when all of that happened, I ended up getting hurt my freshman year. Things keep progressing and whatever. And my first visit is to Michigan because I had started doing all that crazy, like, post YouTube stuff, email, call coaches, etc. And I had my first visit to Michigan and I ended up walking into the gym and like all the banners, the Big Ten banners are hanging. It's all the like amazing history. And I was just like, oh my God, this is like incredible. And then of course, like 20 minutes later, they take us to the big house and stand us in the middle of the big house, like me and my mom and the three coaches and play like the fight song. And I'm like, oh my God, like, how are you not supposed to come here? Like, this is ridiculous. And so, of course, like we leave that visit, I'm like, this is where I have to go. My mom is like totally thinking like, yes, this is it. I ended up taking like one other visit, but everything I compared to Michigan. And then 3 weeks later, I ended up getting a call from Scott Sherman and he was like, do you want to be a Michigan Wolverine? I was like, yeah, how fast can I hit the button? Like, yes. And that was it. And so I ended up verbally committing and then, the rest is history, I suppose.
The rest is history. Oh, I love that. I never knew that about you. Like obviously I knew you were a Michigan gymnast. I mean, when I think of Michigan gymnastics, which again, guys, this is a podcast that we appreciate everyone's opinion. And well, I think of you. Like when I think of Michigan gymnastics, I'm like, oh, Olivia Karas, obviously.
Stop.
I mean, you are like, in my mind, you are Miss Michigan. I know that there are amazing athletes at the University of Michigan on all fronts. Like you're kind of an everything school.
Yeah. I like to think that.
I mean, somebody's got to, right?
Yeah.
Somebody's got to pull that line and you guys are doing it. I mean, Michigan, for me, it's funny because I can't imagine going to Michigan because of obviously the snow. Like, how do you get to class? Oh, you walk through it. I'm sorry. You go outside in the snow and walk to class?
Try crutching through it.
You're a warrior. You're a superwoman if you do that. And I know I remember when I was choosing a school, it was very much so like, yeah, I'm headed south.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all.
I don't want to say I was against the cold, but I was against the cold. So
yeah, but like I don't blame you. I mean, it was cold, and Michigan is cold.
That's the thing. There's cold, and then there's Michigan cold.
Yeah, it's like to your core cold.
Fellow Midwesterner, Indiana, equally as cold. I wouldn't say equally as brutal. I think Michigan and Illinois just get like frigid. Indiana gets cold. Like I think Illinois gets frigid. I think Michigan's in its own like world of cold. So the fact that you guys would walk to class in the snow, like again, warriors, you're warriors. And that's just a testimony of how strong you guys are. So gold stars for anybody who is going to Michigan or any school right now that has to trek through the snow to get to class. You guys all get a gold star in my book.
Thank you for the gold star.
You're welcome. Anytime. So you have an amazing career at Michigan and you are a 4-time team Big Ten champion. That's huge. Like that's like really cool. I feel like you don't tell people that often. And I think you should like wear a badge of honor and have that on there because that's really, really cool. But I think the really impactful part of your college journey is really the hurdles that you had to get through because you did not have an easy college career. You didn't.
Nope.
And I think if you can just touch very briefly on it if you want to, because I think it's a very cool story of what you were able to overcome. And I think there's so many people out there that are either going through it right now or they've gone through it already. And they feel, sometimes you can feel very alone during those times. And I think your story alone with just what you overcame is so powerful. And I just think everyone needs to hear it.
Well, thanks. Yes, my college career was very non-linear. It was very roller coaster-esque, which is so on brand for me and just like my life. So naturally, I wasn't expecting a linear career, but I was one of those people that came in as a freshman and truthfully 100% had no idea what I was doing. I have never had a former teammate that competed in college. I've never, at that point, really understood what exactly differentiated college gymnastics from club, except for the fact that you were competing as a team and not as an individual, because our club was small. We did not have a lot of level 10s. They really have created a great level 10 program, but when I was there, we had no idea what we were doing. So when I got there, like, to me, I didn't understand what the impact of small tenths adding up meant. I didn't understand what that meant. I didn't understand what the work of simply holding a handstand a little bit longer on bars or not just going, I made it through the routine and got a 9.8 to no, making it through is not acceptable. I didn't understand that truthfully until probably my senior year. But getting to that point, my freshman year, it was a great year. It did not come without its own issues. I had a lot of just like adjustment personal things that were going on in my life, just in terms of competing every weekend. For me, I feel like people don't talk about this enough when they come to college, but competing every weekend was mentally exhausting, not to mention physically exhausting, but I was constantly tired. I competed all around every weekend. So there was never a moment to breathe on the ground. All you're doing is going and going. You're traveling. You're barely seeing your family at travel meets. It was just like a lot for me mentally. And so then my sophomore year, when going into it, I was like, okay, at least I know a little bit of like more of like what I'm doing. My sophomore year and junior year were just more hard years in terms of like so many different things. Like my sophomore year, we just struggled a lot with like personal things with family and with just things going on with relationships. And so my mind was all over the place. And then my junior year is when my physical body kind of took over and was like, sis, you need a break. And tore my Achilles on floor. Probably the best floor routine I've ever done in my life. And tore my Achilles on the double pike, which actually is so funny. Recently, a girlfriend of mine texted me and was like, do you have the video of you tearing your Achilles? I'm like, believe it or not, I do. And I sent it to her and I was like, here it is. I don't know what you need it for, but like, go for it. And
you have that video?
I do have that video. And it made me rewatch the floor routine. And I was like, I've only ever really like seen the double pike because I wanted to see what it looked like, not from like a gross perspective, but from like a how I reacted perspective, because I kind of blacked out. I don't remember. So I was like, I need to see what happened. And just truthfully how impressive it was that I didn't land on my head and that I landed on my knees. But I rewatched the routine and I was like, dang, that was actually really good. I was like, I'm so annoyed that happened. But
why did that have to happen then? Why couldn't I just finish the routine?
Couldn't it have been a routine where like the first and second pass were really iffy, but like it had to be the perfect routine? So get hurt my junior year, talk about snow. It was a blizzard. And the day I got hurt, and the university closed for 3 days, which the university never closes. So the university closes for 3 days because the snow is like 1.5 feet. And my mom stayed. My mom was at that meet. My mom stayed for a whole week because she couldn't drive home because the snow was so bad. And so tear my Achilles, end up realizing that there's nothing I can physically do for this team except for cheer. And I like to think that I had a total like emotional glow up in my college career. Freshman year, Olivia would have been so annoyed and mad and angry and pissed off And junior year, Olivia was like, I simply can't fix this. And so why would I waste my energy on it, being upset that I can't compete? And so that was actually a major like mental glow up for me, but figured out what my role was, figured out how to provide value. And that's such a hard thing to do when in the past your value was putting up a 985, 99 plus score. And now your value add was to cheer loudly, but properly, like not be obnoxiously cheering, but like really like learn your role, learn if there's a place that you can provide some guidance to a teammate before or after a routine. Like it was a total shift. And just putting more focus into rehab and strength and conditioning, which was incredible to do because I ended up coming back my senior year stronger than I'd ever been. I had the season of my life and had fun. Like it was a blast. And we ended up qualifying to nationals with the first time with the new format, which was so hard. And like that video is like ingrained in my brain forever. And just truly ending on a high, which was, I couldn't have imagined a better ending to my career, which is why I will, even though some days I miss gymnastics, I will never in a million years ever try again because the end of my career was like perfect.
Honestly, I feel that on a very spiritual level.
Right?
I mean, it's just crazy. And maybe you feel the same way, but whenever talking about the trials and tribulations you go through in college and you made it out, not only did you make it out alive, but you went out on a high note.
Exactly.
I mean, and I really love, what did you say, the mental glow up?
Yes.
I am here for that. I am so here for that. And I think that's something that you don't talk about because it's always about physical and about, oh, my routine's improving, or, oh, honey, mental health all the way, all day, every day.
Oh, I know.
I mean, so important. It's so important. So to hear you say that is, and I love that you're like, that was my kind of like period. Mental glow up, here for it.
Yes. And like it was given to me almost on a silver platter because I physically couldn't have done anything else in that moment. And so I was truly given like the perfect opportunity to see if my mental glow up was like, if I was going to have a positive reaction to it or not.
Right. Oh, 100%.
You know?
And I think too, like, I love what you just said. It was handed to me on a silver platter. You very easily could have handled that very differently.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Things could have definitely gone a different direction, but I mean, because you saw the big picture, you were able to turn that negative into a massive positive, not only for yourself, but for your team, which is just, I think that's the beauty of NCAA gymnastics. And really, I think that's the beauty of college sports. And maybe it's a professional, can't speak on it, not a professional, never was, never will be. But as far as NCAA, it's like the team aspect is so unique.
Yeah.
And especially in gymnastics, it's such a transition. I mean, it is a huge transition. So many transitions in life. It's really a wild life that we all live, going through all these transitions. But I will say the way that you handled your transition, not just into college, but also dealing with a huge injury, a season, what could have been ultimately for some a career-ending injury. It was such a positive, like you had such a positive impact, not only on you and your team, which again is just kudos to you and to that Michigan program of allowing you to become that person that you wanted to be. Oh, I love that.
I know I'm lucky for sure. It was a lot of work, but I definitely felt the love. I felt that I had an opportunity to capitalize on, and I had the chance to be better in so many different aspects. I mean, like I was focusing, doing shoulder rehab during my Achilles rehab because I had that chance to be able to come in completely with a new mindset of like my body and what I could handle and what I couldn't handle. And it actually allowed me to even take my time with coming back and figuring out some mental blocks too. And like, I didn't even realize that I needed this paused moment to go, why am I so freaked out by a shapash but then I can sit there and I can do my own thing with recovery for one injury. Then I can also simultaneously like really work through things in my head, work through things that I struggle with just being in the gym and not having to do it physically, but just to be like,
Right.
if I were to have to do that bars assignment, how would I approach that? Even though I can't do that right now. That was a crazy experience too, just figuring out that different shift.
Right. Oh, wow. Well, talking about shifting, you not only are Miss Big Ten Michigan Gymnastics, I'm just like giving you that crown right now. It's yours. Take the crown.
I will take it.
But you transitioned into a huge role with Big Ten. And again, you are, again, guys, my opinion, I mean, you are one of the strongest Big Ten gymnastics analysts I've ever listened to. And I'll be honest, I really didn't listen to the Big Ten until you and I became friends. And I started listening to you, and you're amazing, not to mention Big Ten right now. We're going to like do a massive shift here, people. Olivia had an amazing career. She has she's just an amazing person. But what we're really here for is all of your NCAA knowledge. We know, if you don't know, Liv on Twitter during gymnastics season, you should, because
it's a different persona.
It's a lot of fun. But I think the transition that you did as an analyst, like that was flawless in my opinion. Like it seemed like the door opened and you were just like, all right, here I am. Like, let's do this.
I hope so, because that's how I feel. And like, I always just love the element of being able to talk about what I see, because I think, especially as a Big Ten athlete, when I was competing, there was that Big Ten stigma around that we just got worse scores. And perhaps there's stigma everywhere we go, and we don't even want to open that door. But when it comes to like the general, how as an athlete in the Big Ten, I felt in my career, I felt that it was my job to be able to take what I saw from the coverage we received and give it 10, 15, 20 times more amplification, more energy, more anything that I possibly could give to that narrative, because there's so much good gymnastics in so many conferences that doesn't get the light of day simply because it doesn't have resources. And so that's how I went into like my role with Big Ten, was just thinking, how can I literally learn as much as I possibly can about all 10 of these schools, and then be able to bring that to the table so that someone's grandma or godmother or aunt or whomever is watching, and they feel like the person talking about their family member, their child, or whomever it is, knows them. That was huge for me. And so it's a lot of work, as you know, Bridget. I mean, getting ready for a meet as an analyst is so much work, but the work is easy because it requires telling a story, watching gymnastics, and just engaging with the stories of the athletes and the programs, which is so fun.
Oh, for sure. And I think, I mean, you nailed it on the head. It is a lot of work, but it's so fun that you don't think of it as being like a 9-to-5 job. I mean, it's not a 9-to-5 job in any way, shape, or form, but I will say right now, and again, shifting, now we're going to talk gymnastics full on, because I think, and I really want your like honest opinion on this. And we have been, I think you and I have been saying this for a while. As an SEC analyst, I always am, I love good gymnastics. And that's the beauty of really every network these days. You're not only commentating on SEC or Big Ten, like you are literally getting everybody. So I think there's been a huge shift, especially from a broadcasting standpoint, of this is going to be amazing gymnastics. It doesn't matter what school they're from.
Totally.
You are going to see amazing gymnastics. And a conference that we have, well, you've been saying this for years, but I'm jumping on the bandwagon. I am. I think the Big Ten is continuing to level up. I mean, and I think it's so cool that you are seeing, because, okay, when I was an athlete and when I was in college, so what was that, 2012, 2016, you saw elites. You saw elites at the big school, and you saw, and that's fine. And there are some programs that still live that way, and they're thriving and succeeding, and I love that. But I think the beauty of college gymnastics, like today, is that every single school brings something different to the table. Every single school is going to have a different culture, different experience, and there truly is a school out there for everybody when it comes to athletics,
Absolutely.
in my opinion. But you have to look for it sometimes. It's going to be those schools that you're not sure if you want to go visit. You're not sure. And, what's crazy is I was thinking about this today. What if I didn't go to Florida? Like, what if you didn't go to Michigan?
Right.
Like, life would be totally different. And I'm sure we would make the most of it. But it's kind of like saying, like the cheesy saying, which actually I live my life by this, but everything happens for a reason. I mean, literally everything happens for a reason. And right now, I see the Big Ten. I mean, gosh, Michigan State, love.
I could talk about that program all day, literally.
I think you and I called it, what was it, 3 years ago?
Yes, we did.
We called it, and we were like, this is going to be, do not sleep on this program, because the culture, the athletes, just the entire program itself, it just like oozes with excitement, with passion, with that like grit mentality of like, we want this so bad. So that being said, let's talk NCAA gymnastics. I mean, who, in your opinion, what are 3 programs that are like, just give them another year and they will be up there?
I think that Ohio State is on the rise.
Okay.
I really do. Last year, they finished their season at regionals with a program high, and they still made little things that I saw that I was like, that's an easy fix. Like, totally easy fix. Like, they're a 198 team, and they really have the talent, they have the leadership, but they also have the grit of the newcomers. And I really like that. And I think that what they've got going over there is good. I'm really excited. I think this year, coming off of that win, it's going to be hard to start the year thinking like, well, we ended the year. It's a little bit like, for instance, like when Michigan won the national championship, there was all of this hype of like, that's the standard and there's nothing less. It's hard to get to the top. It's even harder to stay at the top. And so I think that their challenge coming out of the gate is going to be, we know we have that potential. We have even more talent coming in to help us do that. And now let's get back to that point and take our time throughout the season. I think the whole come out of the gate strong argument, while fantastic, and I get it, is so hard to maintain.
I mean, how many times on air do we always say the beginning of season?
It's the beginning
of season. Get out all your falls, get out all your like oops, those oops moments, live them in the beginning of season.
Over rotate your vault. Over rotate your vault. Like, please don't try to stick stuff.
Over rotate your vault.
Literally, like, no one needs you to stick anything. Do not crunch your ankles on a full on vault on week 1.
Right.
For the 995. Like, don't do it. It's not worth it. And some of these programs that have figured that out are the ones that are peaking at that right time. And that's what's interesting, is there's a total strategy behind it. Then again, sometimes, let's be clear, how many times did you do a vault that just stuck and you were like, hey, didn't even try? Like, cool.
Those were those surprise vaults that we were like, oh my God, did you guys see that? I just stuck that. I didn't even try for it. It just happened.
I didn't even try. It just happened. But I don't know. I am really excited about Ohio State. We could talk about Michigan State all day. I don't know. I think that last year was we need one more year. And this year is their year. That's what I think.
I love that. I mean, I think and again, this is going back to just how good NCAA gymnastics is right now, is
yes.
Back in the day, gosh, I'm like aging myself. Well, back in my day, when you competed, there were certain teams that you competed against, and you knew that you had a very high possibility of coming out of that meet on top. There were absolutely teams like that. That doesn't happen anymore.
Nope.
I feel like every single weekend you are out there, but you have, and these athletes, they have to be able to look at it as, I'm going out there to compete for myself, which is going to help my team. I think that mentality of, are you competing for yourself or are you competing for your team? I've always believed, and who knows, maybe I'm wrong, but I've always believed if you do everything to your ability, like you as an individual, you do everything to your ability, that will help the team.
100%.
Don't think about, oh, I have to do this for the team. The team will be there. Like those athletes, that's your sisterhood. Like that is your team sisterhood. They will be there. But I think the mentality, and you kind of see it across the board. I mean, every single school is leveling up. I mean, UCLA, Oregon State, Utah, everybody on the West Coast, I think, has taken not just a like small step, but a leap to get back to I just feel like you never know who's going to win anymore.
I agree, because I think what's so impressive, and like, look, say what you want to or not about Oklahoma, they're dang good and they've stayed at the top. So you can say what you want about their program and whatnot, but ultimately they've figured something out that has allowed them to be great across the board for numerous years and to be on top. But still with that, people are going into meets and going into postseason going, truthfully, it could be anyone's day. And it just so 100%. Happens that the day ended up in the last couple years with Michigan and Oklahoma. It just so happened that that was the case. But what I think about the upcoming seasons, I mean, a team that I would love to talk about is LSU. Like, I don't know if you've been watching their social media.
They look incredible.
Like, lineups. And
they look incredible.
And it's like a vengeance tour for it's just like a vengeance tour across the board for numerous people. And it's like Kaya Johnson coming back, Kai Rivers coming back, Savannah Shanehair going and joining the team. Then you have like Connor, and it's just like, oh my God, like the team is freaking packed, but it's packed with talent. And it's also packed with people that are like, we had an amazing season last year, almost like a little bit of a Cinderella story season, given what had happened. But now we want more. And now we're coming back with like full strength, like literally ready to dive headfirst and go in. And I think they have something really magical bundling up down there, because it's interesting.
Ooh. What do they have? What are you guys cooking up down there? I completely agree. I think to me, LSU has always been up there. But they've always been missing something. And I do feel, and again, this is just from watching social media clips and whatnot, but you can't say that you don't sense this like maturity on the team.
Totally.
Like the dedication is there. And it's hard to explain because I'm not calling any of them immature by any means, but they just act with this sense of confidence, not cockiness, but sense of confidence that they know that they are excellent at their craft and they can't wait to show the world. And I do feel like you see that more and more instead of athletes walking into an arena just assuming they're going to win, they walk into the arena and know that it's going to be a battle. I mean, it is going to be tough and it's going to be hard, but at the end of the day, I mean, you're going to see some dang good gymnastics. And 100%. I don't want to get into the perfect 10 debacle because I'm very worried about what's going to happen this season. But I do think you can't get upset for an athlete getting a perfect 10. End of story. That athlete didn't what? How are you going to blame the athlete when it's judged? Right. Like, you can be upset as much as you want. And trust me, I am too, about the fact that there's blatant deductions and the athlete gets a 10. It's not, you said it perfectly. It's not the athlete's fault. She doesn't want the 10 because
She took a hop and trust me, if anyone knows, she knows I kind of missed that last handstand, or like clearly my foot moved or my front foot slid back on the lunge. Like she
Oh yeah.
knows. Like, come on. Of
Right.
course she knows. And so the dialogue is always going to be of complaining about the perfect 10. I've joined in on it. Many people have joined in on it. As long as the dialogue doesn't accuse the athlete and just recognizes, and it doesn't even necessarily have to accuse the judge. It just has to recognize the flaws in judging as a whole, not as a judge or not as whatever, but just the flaw in the fact that, let's be clear, the perfect 10 is subjective, Sorry,
Yeah.
judging's subjective. Ultimately, like, I think that there's going to be things that we all don't agree with. But as you said, Bridge, it's not the athlete's fault. She's just trying to get her job done.
Oh, 100%. And let me be very clear. I right here have had multiple, not one, more than one, less than 4, where I'm like, what were they watching? I'm like, okay. And you get excited and you're like, I didn't deserve that, but I'm going to put it in my back pocket and I'm going to save it for a rainy day when I'm feeling down and be like, you know what?
Yes.
Remember that meet where I really wasn't feeling my best? And then okay. And it's like, I do think perfect tens, oh gosh, there's like part of me. They used to be so rare. So
Oh my God.
rare.
It was like seeing a dinosaur when someone got a 10.
Essentially. Like,
it was like amazing.
Never saw them, but then it's like, how are you going to get upset? Because let me tell you, these athletes right now, their routines. Oh, I could never.
Oh no,
I could never. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I barely made my way through. As is.
I had to like. Gosh, this is really embarrassing. I wouldn't say water down, but did I have to change some passes around because maybe somebody couldn't get through the floor routine? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, could have been me.
Oh, please. I'm the classic Maloney Bale double layout routine. I was on the bar for less than 15 seconds. It started from a 10.
Oh my gosh. I used to envy. If I were competing with you, I would have envied you. I was so jealous.
Well, when the assignment was 3 in a row bar routines and I'd go, ugh, and everyone would go, don't even get me started. And I'm like, you're right.
Don't even start. I mean, it is crazy though. And also, let's not take away the fact that how many Olympians are competing in college now? National champion. Like, and I think it's so cool, but I don't think it's like an expectation necessarily, but I do think sometimes as a fan, it's like, well, why, like, you went to the Olympics. Like, what do you mean?
Why don't you do more?
Why? Exactly. And anytime I hear that conversation, it's like my blood starts to boil and I'm like, you don't even know. You have no idea.
Follow the
like, what?
Right.
What?
Right. That's
okay.
That's such a like, that's one of those arguments where you could say like, oh, well, they won last year, so like they are not allowed to fall. Or like they're a very famous athlete, so like they can't make mistakes. And if they do, everyone's like, that is so uncharacteristic. And it's like, yeah, but they're a human being.
Right. Let's give some love for everyone being able to make mistakes and grow. You know what? We're all about growing.
Yeah. Yeah. We're all about the glow up.
Oh, all about the glow up in every way, shape, and form, honestly.
Exactly.
I will say my worst season, honest to God, my worst season was my senior year. I think I had more fun. Yeah. Yeah. I was going through it, My hair wasn't red at the time, but that's when you really knew I was going through when I dyed my hair red. But yeah, I think senior year, I think it's such a complicating season because again, back then there was no 5th year. There was no, I knew that my career was coming to an end, which happily accepted that. I was ready. But I think there's so much as an athlete that you're thinking about. And then when you're competing in a sport that is so mentally exhausting, you just kind of get to a point where in no means did I give up, but like it's like I couldn't even think about it any longer. Like I was trying to
You
focus so
can't.
hard on something and then something else happened and you're just like, oh my gosh, I don't even know how, when you would fall and you would be like, how did I get here?
Yes.
Like,
And you're
how,
like feet on the mat, beam at stomach, and you're like, huh.
like you're literally laying on the floor and you're like, how did I get here? And everybody's like, what's wrong? And you're like, I don't know.
I truthfully don't know.
You're like, just give me a second to like process what happened and then let's move on and we'll be done with that. Oh gosh.
It's like you black out. And it's not like a scary
Mhm.
blackout in that like you're not
No.
present and you're not like, you're making a mistake because your head isn't there. It's simply
Right.
like a how.
How did you get here?
That's a little bit of like the whole I had to rewatch getting hurt because I had to understand how I landed the way I did.
We
Not
are
because
not
I
the
was like,
same.
I know. But it wasn't like a painful thing. Like it didn't look like it hurt. It wasn't like a dramatic fall. It didn't have any like grandoise to it. It literally was just like a double pike short. That was it.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, in my head, I thought it was just so much more elaborate, but it really was pretty boring.
You're thinking like, it's amazing I survived. And then you rewatch, you're like, huh.
I'm like, it
Look at
wasn't
that.
really that bad. I mean, the one that was bad was when my hand slipped and I fell on my face at Illinois. That one was bad and nothing happened. So it's just like, I don't know. It's so interesting when you think about like how did I end up here?
I know.
Yup, that's me.
Honestly, I think a lot about that, especially on beam. I remember there would be times where I would fall and you would just be standing there and you're like, wait a second, why am I on the floor?
Yep. Oh
Wait.
yeah.
And then, like the coach comes over to you and they're like, so what happened? You're like, I'm trying to process. I'm trying to figure that out. Actually, also, I'm like, I don't know. Or on bars,
You're like,
you
I
miss
have
a
absolutely
hand.
no idea. Oh.
Yes, it's like on bars, you miss a hand and they're like, what happened? You're like, I don't know.
Can we all agree the worst event to fall on is bars? I mean,
I don't know.
I think falling on bars, you mess up the swing, you gotta re-chalk. Like there's
That
just
is true.
something so
Like the walk of shame. The walk of
it's
shame
so
to the chalkboard.
yes,
And everybody is
yes.
screaming your name and you're like, guys, please stop. Stop
Yeah.
drawing attention.
And the worst is if you like fall on the first skill and so then you have to redo the whole bar routine and you're just like, oh my God. It sucks to fall on any event, let's be clear. Or like a first pass on floor when you have to keep going. Like,
and then you have to
God.
keep
Oh God.
the amount of times in practice where I would fall on like my first pass and I would purposely, this is how like I was so bad in college. I was such a pain. And you know what? I acknowledge that and I realize that and I apologize to every college coach that ever coached me. Like I was such a terror at times. I would sit and wait for my music to play and be like, oh, I'm so behind. I need to start over. And it's like, why did I do that? Like there are people out there, I'm sure, that would be like, Bridget, you were just like so consistent. No, I wasn't. I was maybe consistent when competing, but in practice, oh no. I would fall and I would
story.
Oh, totally. I would fall and I wouldn't make a huge scene, but especially on floor, like Adrian would like be telling me to keep going and I'd be like laying on the floor and I was like, oh, the music though. We didn't stop the music.
I will say,
I guess I'll restart.
Something that I don't think many people know is that, or not even know, but like just think about training a floor routine is so hard.
So hard.
Like
you heard it here first and you'll forever hear it.
There is no way you can completely match energy at a meet that you give that's given to you. No shot. B, cardio is hard. It's all adrenaline. Let's be clear. There's cardio involved, but it's all adrenaline.
I mean, yeah.
Like you have to be able to do it in the gym to be safe. But like,
oh, for sure.
In a meet, you get off and you're like, yeah, and you're like running around. In practice, I'm like,
we used to do. Did you guys ever do like uphill double pike routines?
Oh, we sure did. We did double 2 pass last routines.
Those are what nightmares are made of. I would
Evil.
dread going into practice knowing that I had to do that. And it was like, I felt like I was being bullied. Yet everybody else was doing it and everyone else was being successful. Right. And then I'm over there like dry heaving in the corner trying to catch my breath because I'm so out of breath. And I'm like, I can't do this. I was like, oh my God. I think that was the hardest transition for me. Honestly.
I would agree.
Was college
I would
floor.
agree.
Mind you, at the Olympics, I did 5 passes. 5. But doing 3 passes in college, so hard. So hard. I mean, y'all, the freshman 15 was a very real thing. So it was rough out there.
It's true.
it was rough times out there.
It was rough.
Oh my God. Well, what if you could leave the people with one, like, all right, keep an eye out for this team. Mm-hmm. What team would that be? And I know we hit a little bit on it before, but I want like an honest, like, y'all just wait. Just wait. Are you sticking with your pick from earlier?
I mean, I think it has to be Michigan State. That's what I think. I really, really do. I really do. I love my Wolverines to death. I will forever and always be a proud Michigan alum and fan. But I just think in the world of gymnastics, Michigan State has truly shown the most incredible program growth in the last 5 years. And I think that they're just continuing to go up. Mm-hmm. And every time I talk to anyone involved in that program, the energy, the like genuine camaraderie, the appreciation, everything is mirrored. So clearly what they're doing is so authentic. Mm-hmm. And I just love that program. I'm excited that they're hosting Big Tens this year. I think that's so great for the program, for the athletes, for everyone involved. There's just so much good happening. And selfishly, I also have to say that my best friend Lexi Funk is now the assistant coach at Pitt, and their Insta stories have been incredible. So I am thoroughly excited to watch Pitt as well, because I think that they have this new secret sauce of coaches with Casey Joe and with everyone over there. So I think that those are my two, like, I think Pitt in the sense that this could be a total program changing directional year, and Michigan State in that I think they're just continuing to go up. Mm-hmm.
I mean, for Pitt, like it could and very easily could be their breakout year. That's 1,000%. All a team needs. They need 100%. One good breakout year, and then next thing you know, because if you also think about it, every single team that's at the top, they've been there consistently.
Yes.
You know, they're not going down the line. They're staying up there because they figured out what it takes to get there, and they're bringing in the athletes that want to be on top. And again, you buy into the process, you buy into the program. So it's like all you need is one good breakout year.
100%.
And then
you have to feel it to understand it. Like the minute you feel what it feels like to like have that hit lineup in a crucial moment, you go, okay, now it makes sense to me. Like you truly have to go through it to get it. I firmly believe that. And I think that you're spot on. I think that it takes one breakout year to get it and then to be hungry for more, which is why it keeps going up.
Well, you heard it here, folks. Pitt.
What's your team?
State. I just want everyone to have fun.
You're that soccer mom who's like holding apple juice and cookies for the kids. And they're like, everyone.
I mean, yeah. But I do think, I don't even know. I like hate this question. That's why I ask you the question. You're not supposed to ask me the question. So I think UCLA is going to be at the same level of success they were last year, if not a step above, because I know last year was really tough for them, the way they ended. Yeah. Cal.
Ooh.
Give it to me. I am here for Cal. I think UCLA is, especially coming in with new coaches that now have such a great relationship with those athletes. And the athletes, again, like I said, they're buying into the program. You've got Florida, who is still just stacked with talent. I mean, just stacked with talent. LSU, Alabama. I think Alabama is going to be very good this year. And I think
They're
a
high
lot
on
of it
my
has
list
to
too.
do not just with the athletes, but their coaching staff. I think
I
they
agree.
have such an amazing coaching staff. And Missouri, I don't think you can leave Missouri out because they had a phenomenal season last year. And again, we talked about very briefly the breakout. They had a huge breakout season and just rode that wave. I mean,
Absolutely.
I don't think it's fair to be like, oh, this is my team, but I think there are more teams rising to the occasion than there ever have been.
I agree. I think that the way people are seeing what they can do and capitalizing on it is incredible. And truthfully, now that you have it in my head, Cal is maybe one of my all-time favorite teams, specifically bars and beam. Loop it. I could watch it on loop. Beauty.
Run it back.
And when you put them in peak performance next to these other teams on the big stage, the technique just outweighs, in my opinion. I just think their technique is impeccable. So whatever Liz and Justin are doing is working because it's really
Whatever they're
good.
doing, keep it going.
But you're right. I think this year is going to be, we're going to see so much growth and so many teams coming to play. It's going to be incredible. Like, I truly think this season is just going to be like wild. There's going to be so much good stuff happening.
I can't wait. I'm so excited. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Liv's top two teams, Michigan State and Pitt. My top teams are for everyone to have fun. I think everyone should play nice in the sandbox, and we should all just be friends. So, thank you for coming.
I like that choice. Yeah, I like that choice. If I could have it my way, that would be my choice.
Well, because I firmly believe that nobody is going down. Everyone is going up. 100%. It's like once you're at the top of the mountain, as long as you stay consistent, you'll stay there. Everybody is climbing up to the top of that mountain. And it's becoming harder and harder to pinpoint, oh, this is going to be the team this year. I genuinely, I don't think you can say that anymore. I really don't. I don't think you can pick just one team and be like, oh, they're going to be lights out. Because also, season is very long. And it is a roller coaster of, I mean, you've got your high highs and you've got your low lows, but it's always who can come to NCAAs, show up on that day, on that team finals day, and just go lights out. And a lot of teams can do that. I mean, it's not like, again, it's not one of those, oh, it's going to be OU this year. Like last year was crazy, but wow. I mean, we could just talk college gymnastics for a really long time.
We could, because there's so much like good and excitement to talk about. Like, I mean, insane.
It's the best. College gymnastics is the best. I said it. Period. I said it. I don't care.
They're the best, and we just want them all to have fun.
Yeah. I mean, I think you guys should all want to have fun. So you're welcome. If you want me to bring some orange slices and some pretzels, maybe I can do that for everybody because I just want everyone to have fun. Can you imagine I show up with like a tote bag full of snacks?
No, see, here's the thing. I can see it. I can see it happening.
I mean, honestly, same. Well, thank you, Liv, so much for joining. This is, it just gets me hype about the NCAA season. It's going to be an amazing season, and you're going to hear us both. If you're watching Big Ten, if you're watching SEC, you'll hear our beautiful voices. And yes, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you. This is so fun.
Well, that wraps up episode number 2 of Flipping Out with Bridget Sloan. I hope you all enjoyed today's episode because Olivia Karas is someone that just defines NCAA gymnastics, in my opinion. She is so involved. She does so much to give back to the sport, and she's just a wonderful human inside and out, and I couldn't imagine episode number 2 being anybody else. Leading up to that NCAA season, which is happening this weekend, mind blown. It's finally here. Again, I am Bridget Sloan, and this is Flipping Out with Bridget Sloan. Make sure to like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, and tune in every single week because I have an electric lineup of guests for you guys. Have a wonderful week. Get excited for NCAA gymnastics because it is officially here, and have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.